Yeah, I broke Eddie's record. I ain't been on stage in 27 years. They still trying to break my records. God bless y'all. I'm gonna do it again, because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage, because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back, Kevin.
I've talked to him. Eddie, what the you doing? Get on stage. I don't know, man.
Kevin Hart's been riding high in the comedy world lately, but he's been catching a lot of heat, and it's not the friendly kind. Seems like everyone's taking jabs at him, especially his fellow black comedians. You know how brutal comedy can get, right?
15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
These guys can build you up one moment and tear you down the next with just their words. So it's understandable if Kevin's feeling a bit on edge. But why would someone as successful as him be sweating over other comedians? Well, that's where Eddie Murphy comes into play. Eddie Murphy is like that chill uncle at the family reunion, always laid back and never stirring up any drama. So if he's speaking up to call out Kevin Hart, you know it's some serious stuff going down. These two have always shown mutual respect. They've even collaborated on projects like Meet Dave.
I enjoyed the amount of Kevin Hart there was in this film. He's sort of this chaotic element who jumps, or like there's a very early version of the Kevin Hart character.
Yes, very
where
much.
He's
very much.
Very kinetic, very kind of hyper. He jumps around, and I have to say, because he is so young, I found it a little charming.
Okay.
Because he's young, and it's like this, a guy in his early 20s jumping around doing his thing.
Despite their history, Eddie isn't holding back on calling out Kevin's questionable actions. So, what's the supposed shade about? Well, there have been murmurs suggesting that Kevin advanced his career by ingratiating himself with industry bigwigs, perhaps even at the expense of others. Moreover, there are rumors swirling about some shady dealings he may have been a part of. Eddie's been a fixture in the industry since the 90s. He's well versed in its workings, so he's likely aware of any skeletons Kevin might have. Take Cat Williams' words on the Club Shay Shay podcast, for instance. Cat outright labeled Kevin as an industry plant, highlighting how swiftly Kevin ascended to fame, landing a sitcom and starring in Soul Plane all within his first year in LA.
He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is?
All right, for those who need a recap on the ongoing feud between Cat Williams and Kevin Hart, let's rewind a bit. It all began with the movie Fool's Gold back in 2008. Williams was initially set to take the lead role, but his legal issues at the time led him to pass on the opportunity. The film was shot in Australia. Then Kevin Hart entered the scene, snagging the role. And that's when the tension between Williams and Hart began to brew. This feud has been simmering for over a decade now, and its resolution remains uncertain. But there's another significant event from 2008 to consider. Cat dropped his new special, It's Pimpin' Pimpin', and he was riding high. About his show, one fan commented, "I don't care what they say. Cat Williams is the club of the best comedians to ever do comedy. He has outside issues from time to time, but at his next show, he's going to talk about those issues and make me pee on myself from laughing." However, around the same time, Kevin was also making moves, stepping into roles that Cat might have viewed as his territory. Fast forward a bit, when Kevin's career is skyrocketing, landing roles left and right. Meanwhile, Cat's Hollywood journey hits a few bumps. There's this ongoing back and forth. Kevin's rising, Cat's dipping, and neither of them is backing down. In 2016, things take a physical turn when Cat allegedly gets into it with some fans who prefer Kevin's comedy. It gets messy, with Cat throwing shade at Kevin, and Kevin responding with some Instagram humble brags.
Top right now have taken advantage of all the money that I have. I've shot over 56 specials for the up-and-coming generation of comedy. Why? Because I'm trying to create opportunities for others. Rather than complaining about it, I'm fixing it.
Then, Cat throws down the challenge, challenging Kevin to a comedy showdown for $5 million. It's as if they're going to rap battle, box, or play basketball. Cat's ready to settle it once and for all. But even with all this drama, both Kat and Kevin keep hustling. Kat's winning awards, dropping Netflix specials, and popping up on TV shows, while Kevin is stacking up movie roles and Netflix specials of his own. This rivalry might never truly end because they're so different. Kat's edgy, truth-telling comedy clashes with Kevin's family-friendly style. Kat aired his complaints about letting dishonest people spin their own stories unchecked, questioning whether having resources equates to honesty. He's concerned about letting shady characters run wild with their narratives, especially when they have resources at their disposal. In this situation, Kat's fan wrote, "Kat made it to the top. Making money, won an Emmy Award, owns his specials, has an amazing resume, and a huge loyal fan base. I know he wants more, but what he's done has been nothing short of great, and at some point he has to appreciate his own accomplishments and stop worrying about Kevin." And Kevin's fan wrote, "It's really condescending that people are saying that Hollywood made Kevin. He worked for his success. We black people are helping push the narrative of there can only be one." But Kat isn't naive to the fact that speaking out might land him in hot water. He knows folks might see him as just another bitter, jealous comedian behind his back. When asked if he feared any backlash, Williams kept it real, saying,
"These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people."
Moreover, there's been talk for a minute that entertainers are kind of pushed into wearing a dress on screen, almost like a ritual before they can level up in the fame game. And it's not just Kat Williams talking about this. Even Dave Chappelle has touched on it. Back in 2006, during an appearance on Oprah, Dave spilled some major tea about why he turned down a whopping $50 million deal from Comedy Central. Dave wasn't chasing the cash because, as he explained, big bucks often come with some serious strings attached.
I was desperate, I needed a way out, and it wasn't good money and it wasn't good circumstances, but what else am I gonna do, I said.
Being in the showbiz game since he was 14, Dave's seen the dark side. He highlighted Mariah Carey's $100 million deal, followed by her being labeled as crazy, and Martin Lawrence's erratic behavior after hitting it big. These stories put Dave on edge. He told Oprah he'd witnessed it before, always when someone's career was on the brink of success. To him, it felt like they wanted him to sell out for money. There's more to this story. Dave Chappelle dropped a bomb about being asked to wear a dress for a movie he did with Martin Lawrence. Williams says that Martin told him, "Come on, man, it's just comedy. It's not that serious. It's not like you're really a woman." I said, "No, man, I'm not doing it. I have principles and I have dignity. I don't want to disrespect myself or my people." He said, "Well, you're missing out on a big opportunity. You could be a star." I said, "I'm already a star. I don't need to wear a dress to be funny." It gets intense with everyone pushing, but Dave sticks to his guns. In the end, they come up with a new scene without the dress, and Dave's left wondering how they came up with it so fast. For Dave, it wasn't just about wearing a dress. It was about feeling like the industry was trying to corner black artists into doing whatever it took for success. Meanwhile, an up-and-coming Kevin Hart joins the conversation, dropping wisdom left and right. Kevin's all about artists protecting their brand, setting boundaries, and not crossing certain lines. At that point, he was sticking to his beliefs, with no dress drama in sight. When the topic of wearing a dress for a role came up, Kevin was straight up like, it's not happening. He knew his boundaries and was all about protecting his brand. He even mentioned turning down a request to dribble a basketball on a talk show because it would make him look foolish. It's all about protecting the brand, plain and simple. Just a year later, bam, Kevin's on an SNL skit sporting a dress. His fans, especially those loyal to his 9-year-old Oscar nominee character, weren't having it. Accusations of selling out and being fake started flying around. It was like, weren't you just preaching about boundaries and protecting your brand, Kevin? The plot twist got fans feeling some kind of way, and they called him out for doing exactly what he said artists shouldn't do. But then Kevin Hart flipping the script from his earlier stance on wearing dresses. At first he was like, no way, not putting on a dress. Fast forward to when the opportunity knocked and he found the whole idea funny. Suddenly he's like, I'm doing it.
It's all about choice. You know, nobody makes you do anything. Nobody says this is what you got to do. This is the only way that you're going to do it.
But here's where it gets sticky. Kevin goes into defense mode, saying nobody forced Martin Lawrence into Big Mama's house, or Tyler Perry as Medea, or Jamie Foxx into Wanda's dress. It was all about choice. According to Kevin, he's hitting us with the "it's all about choice" narrative. But then there's this counter-argument floating around. People are saying it's not just about choice. Kevin himself wasn't okay with the idea before the money talks began. When the cash starts rolling in, suddenly integrity takes a back seat. It's like money becomes this magical thing that makes people do stuff they swore they'd never do. And truth be told, when that paycheck comes into the picture, folks tend to reveal their true colors. One person wrote, "It's funny because in an old interview, he said he would never wear one because he had a brand that he wanted to protect. I tell you, sometimes I wonder, do they listen to themselves?" So, after Kevin did the whole dress thing, his career skyrocketed. He became the highest-paid comedian ever, raking in cash like nobody else. It's like the dress move was his golden ticket to success in the comedy game. People might argue about the sacrifice of integrity, but at the end of the day, Kevin's laughing all the way to the bank. And then there's Monique, dropping bombs about how Kevin supposedly ditched her when she was going through some real rough times, facing heat from big names like Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. And if that isn't enough to raise your eyebrows, there's talk that Kevin's been cozying up to both Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey to climb the Hollywood ladder. Back in 2021, there was this memorable episode on Kevin Hart's Comedy Goldmines podcast where he had the legendary Monique as his guest. They went deep into Monique's life, her rise in the comedy scene, and where she stands today in her career. Now, if you're not familiar with it, Monique has had some long-standing issues with Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry.
Kevin doesn't want anything to do with Monique. So whatever she told y'all, he doesn't want to do anything with her, nothing. He doesn't want any kind of relationship with Monique.
During their conversation, Monique opened up about the struggles her family faced, describing it as being up against the wall. That's when Kevin Hart, being the stand-up guy he is, stepped in to offer his support. He expressed to Monique that she's like family to him, a mother, an aunt, a sister all rolled into one. And Hart didn't just stop at comforting words. He took action. Now, Hart admitted he didn't really know Oprah Winfrey personally, but he promised Monique that he'd reach out to Tyler Perry, and he did just that. After a heartfelt conversation with Perry, Hart came back to Monique with some promising news. Perry was ready to bury the hatchet and move past the drama. Hart, being the voice of reason, urged Monique to do the same.
I give Kevin Hart his proper credit. When my family was up against the wall, Kevin Hart wrote us a check and said, "Here you go." We're forever grateful for that. When we were able to give it back, we said, "Brother, we appreciate you," with some interest on top.
In a conversation with Shannon Sharp, Monique revealed that Hart not only offered emotional support, but also extended a professional hand. He proposed to partner with her and even offered to executive produce any project she wanted to bring to life. Monique said Hart reached out to her and told her, "Let's move past it, Mo. Let's do great things together. Don't even worry about it. Whatever you want to do, I will partner with you. I will executive produce with you. I'll do whatever you want me to do." Well, Monique spilled the beans about how Kevin came through big time, lending her a hefty sum of cash. And get this, she even returned it with interest. But here's where it gets juicy. After Hart promised to help her get her talk show back on track, naturally, Monique was over the moon. I mean, having Kevin Hart as a producer could skyrocket any project. So she excitedly tells her producers and her media production company, and they're all on board, thrilled at the prospect of working with such a big star. 2 weeks later, Monique gets hit with some devastating news. Her team drops the bombshell that Kevin Hart's manager, Dave Becky, gave them a ring to say that Kevin had cold feet. Monique picks up the phone, hoping for an explanation from Hart himself, and what does she get? A vague reassurance. "We'll talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it," he says. Monique hasn't heard a peep from Kevin since. Monique said she never asked Hart to do anything, but then she was told that Hart's manager said Hart doesn't want anything to do with Monique. She got in touch with Hart, who said it was all a miscommunication. One person wrote, "It's a shame about Kevin. Money and power changes PPL." They're highlighting his dubious history, such as the instance when he denied knowing Oprah Winfrey. I mean, seriously, Who could overlook the entire ordeal of Oprah sending him flowers after his 2019 accident?
I was embracing everybody's flowers until Oprah sent me flowers. And then I realized nobody else loves me like Oprah. Oprah's flowers are still alive. I've never seen anything like it.
In a chat with Ellen, they delved into it, with Ellen explaining how she reached out to Kevin after learning about his accident and back surgery. Kevin shared that he received numerous flowers from well-wishers, but it was Oprah's floral gift that left a lasting impression. According to Kevin, Oprah's flowers are like a never-ending story, still thriving and transforming his place into a botanical paradise. It's turned into a running joke in his house, with everyone wondering when Oprah's flowers will finally fade away. And now, he's claiming he doesn't really know her. Seems fishy, doesn't it?
It's a jungle. She sent the jungle to my house.
Then there's the wild rumor mill spinning tales about Kevin selling his soul to the likes of Oprah and Tyler Perry. Supposedly, if he had lifted a finger to help Monique revive her career, it would have put his own career in jeopardy. Rumors swirled regarding Kevin Hart's alleged infidelity during his marriage to his ex-wife, Torrei Hart, and his subsequent relationship with his current wife, Eniko Parrish. The couple, Kevin and Torrei, parted ways in 2011 after 8 years of marriage, with Torrei initiating the divorce and accusing Kevin of infidelity. Reports suggested that Kevin was caught red-handed with multiple women, and there were even speculations that Eniko might have been one of the women involved, while Kevin was still married to Torrei. These rumors marked a significant downturn in Kevin Hart's public image and personal life, leading to widespread scrutiny and controversy surrounding his relationships. Torrei opened up about feeling deeply betrayed, not only because she wasn't keen on divorce, but also because she found herself constantly confronted by reminders of Kevin, from billboards to Hollywood events. She had envisioned them as a power couple, paving the way for strong Black women, but those aspirations came crashing down. What added insult to injury was the revelation that Torrei wasn't just Kevin's wife. She had also been behind the scenes, contributing jokes for Kevin's movies and stand-up performances. However, Kevin never acknowledged her comedic contributions publicly. To compound matters, it was rumored that Kevin had used the money he earned from those jokes on his extramarital affairs, further deepening the sense of betrayal for Torrei. Indeed, it's incredibly painful to imagine standing by someone, supporting them as they climb to success, only to have them make light of cheating on you during their stand-up routine. It's a situation filled with hurt, betrayal, and a sense of being exploited for laughs at one's expense. It's undoubtedly a challenging experience for anyone to endure, and it highlights the complex and sometimes painful dynamics that can exist within relationships, particularly when fame and success are involved. The situation might be heating up even more for Kevin, as Torrei announced that she's hitting the road on tour with Cat Williams. Given the history between Kevin and Cat, who are known to clash, people are understandably puzzled about what's going on. Torrei spilled the tea on Instagram, sharing a picture with her buddy Cat Williams, and revealing her involvement in his Dark Matter tour. When asked about Torrei joining Cat on tour, Kevin tried to downplay it, but you could sense the annoyance radiating from him. While Kevin brushed off rumors about him, suggesting they're no big deal, they've likely still left a stain on his reputation. The dynamics between Kevin, Torrei, and Cat add another layer of complexity to an already tangled situation. With Eddie Murphy stepping into the spotlight to address the disturbing behavior surrounding Kevin Hart, the comedy world is abuzz with speculation and anticipation. His involvement brings a heightened level of interest and intrigue to the situation, signaling that there may be more twists and turns yet to come. As the dust settles and the truth comes to light, one thing's for certain: the comedy scene will never be the same again. The unfolding drama promises to reshape perspectives and perhaps even redefine relationships within the comedy world. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye. Until then, goodbye. Until then, goodbye.